What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 1, Mercy. So, it's kind of interesting because I've been doing these multi-episode reviews, and I just recently did Arrow, and I had to do the 3 Arrow episodes individually, separately, because I felt like they were throwing so much information at me, and it was all so disconnected and disjointed and just really poorly told that I had to do one episode at a time. I couldn't do a multi-episode review. So I get to this episode of The Walking Dead, and once again, I feel like I have to do it one episode at a time, but not because they're throwing so much information at me and it's disjointed and disconnected. I feel like it's a lot of information, but it's told so well. I feel like I need to do it one episode at a time because I got to talk about what goes on in this episode individually. So it's kind of interesting to see sort of that contrast of you go to Arrow and everything's so disconnected, disjointed, I can't focus and I have to do one episode at a time. You come to The Walking Dead and there's so much going on, but it's told well. It's just, there's a lot of stuff going on. But it all does connect together. It's all a part of one big puzzle instead of Arrow where it's like 5 little separate puzzles that you got to work on. It's just so much easier over here at The Walking Dead. But despite that, I am going to do this one episode at a time because I do want to make sure I hit all the points and I don't miss anything. So let's get into this season premiere. We see it kicks off with a little bit of, jumping around, jump cutting. This is a little bit hard to follow, I guess, mainly because it's just like we're here and then we're there and then we're here and then we're there and then we're over there and then we're over here. I get what they're trying to do because we see at the end they go back to that same thing to finish it off with Rick giving his final speech. So in the end, it does sort of make sense why they did it, but at the beginning, I will admit I was a little bit lost. I'm like, okay, let's calm down with the jumping around. We need to stay focused. But the different scenes going on, the first one that I'll talk about is this flash forward, it seems. Rick wakes up in a bed. He's older. He's got a big old mustache. He's got a cane now. Michonne is there. Carl's all grown up. Little ass kicker, forget her name, is all grown up. So, yeah, we see they're in the future, and we see everything is looking really, really good at Alexandria. So, I don't know if this is actually the future or if this is what Rick is seeing as a possible future. If it's the actual future, I'll be a bit disappointed because you spoiled a lot of stuff for us. We know Rick is going to survive. We know Carl's going to survive. We know Michonne is going to survive, and Little Ass Kicker's going to survive. I'm a little disappointed if that is the actual future. But if it's a vision of the future, then it makes a bit more sense. This is Rick realizing, okay, this is if my mercy prevails compared to if my wrath prevails, which he'll probably become a little bit more like Negan and things will be more like a dictatorship. So he's seeing, there's this scene where he's in the forest, and I still don't know exactly how he gets to this point, but he's like looking all like mesmerized, and there's a stained glass window hanging up, and it's shining this colorful light across his face. And he's sitting there like mesmerized, like, and I don't know how he gets here because we never really see that exact scene, but I feel like he's seeing this and he's seeing a possible future if his mercy prevails. So, yeah, I get the moral is just a little bit confusing at times as to what exactly is going on. But aside from that, we also see the main meat of this story, which is them setting up, I guess, the first attack on Negan and the first of many attacks most likely, but the one to just sort of throw him off of his game and give them a bit of an advantage. So we see he and Ezekiel and Maggie are all giving a speech, very, very well-worded speech. The dialogue in the show has typically been really good, so I'm not surprised that this was a great speech. But yeah, all 3 of them give a little bit of a speech, and it's all really good. We see them all driving these cars that are set up with like barricades and stuff to protect them. It's really fun kind of seeing some of the different interactions as well. You see, what's his name? Oh, the big guy that's Ezekiel's right-hand man. I'm going to forget his name now, and it's frustrating. But we see him, and he's talking to Enid, and he's like going to give her body armor. She's like, no, I'll be fine with Maggie. And he's like, dude, put it on. I don't know, just some of these interactions I feel like are going to be hysterical now with people all combining together. But we see them all driving barricaded cars to the sanctuary. We also see Tara and Carol are up on a bridge, timing how long it's going to take the walkers to get around for some reason. I don't know. She's like counting. She's like, all right, it's 10:28, and the walkers are walking underneath the bridge. And then as they're walking up, it's like 7:40 something. She's like, all right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there's nothing there. And he's like, oh, damn it. And then he's like, no, wait. And then here they come. And I'm like, what was that scene for? What was the point of that? Like, I don't understand. But whatever the case, they're leading the walkers towards the sanctuary. We see them set up a little bit of a trap for these people coming out of the sanctuary. They blow up a car on the bridge. Dwight sends out some people in some cars, and they set up a little wire thing that triggers some explosives and blows up the cars that are coming out. And so this leads the walkers further towards them, and pretty much Daryl just takes them the rest of the way, shoots some like explosive bullets to blow up and keep the walkers directed towards the sanctuary. While all that's going on, we see Rick is confronting Negan and his underlings. We see Dwight is there, Eugene is there, Simon is there, Gavin is there, and then this new one, her name is Regina. I know there was that group of people when Michonne kidnapped a savior last year and said, take me to the saviors. She took her to this group that was in this big field, and it was a bunch of saviors out there. I'll be curious to see if Regina is possibly like the leader of that group, or if she's somebody completely different. But I'm very interested to see, new character. I'd like to see more about her. What is her thing? But of course, this also doesn't account for the garbage people that we still haven't seen in this episode. So, yeah, all these different characters are up there. Rick is pretty much telling them, look, you 5, you all have a chance to survive this. You just got to surrender. And Negan's just like, well, what about me, Rick? And she's like, you know what's coming. I told you twice. And this is what, honestly, is one of my favorite things about this episode is the interaction between them now. It's a lot of fun. Last season where it was like Negan was threatening Rick and Rick was all like, oh, I can't say anything back. Oh, no. This season is like Negan's all arrogant and cocky. He's still Negan. He's still just completely feeling in control of the situation. But now whenever he's taunting Rick, Rick throws it right back in his face, and he's just as cocky and arrogant. I love it. It was such a fun scene to see both of them going back and forth, seeing some of them just really just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was so much fun. But at some point, Negan feels like he's in control of the situation. And you're kind of like, okay, is there a plan that he has in place? Did he know this was coming? Did Dwight maybe tip him off? Well, he tells Rick, you don't have the numbers you think you do. Outsteps Gregory. And he's just like, tell him what you told me. And he's like, the Hilltop stands with Negan and the Saviors and Sanctuary. And of course, all the Hilltop people were like, right, yeah, you totally are in control of us, dude. And so, yeah, that scene was pretty funny just to see Gregory get a bit of a comeuppance because he feels like he's in control. He's talking all like Negan, like, all of you can go back home before you have a home to go back to, or something like that. And then everybody just sits there. Maggie's just like, looks like nobody's leaving yet. And Jesus just pops up. The Hilltop stands with Maggie. I'm like, yeah. Oh, it was a great scene. But ultimately, all that happens is Simon pushes Gregory down the stairs, and that's it. So Rick once again tells him, look, this is your last chance. Another great moment. He's like, you're really going to make me count. He's like, 10, 9, 8, 7, pulls out a gun and starts shooting. They start shooting out all the windows, which I'm not really sure what that is meant to do. I'm not sure if the gunfire is meant to draw the walkers or if that's supposed to create something, like some sort of opening. I don't know. It felt kind of weird that they were shooting out all of the windows, wasting all their bullets on it. But whatever the case, they start shooting out the windows. Negan, for some reason, runs back outside in the middle of all of this. They drive a truck full of explosives into the gate and blow it up. And so Negan's outside for some reason. Rick is shooting at him, and then Father Gabriel steps in. And we saw a little scene between him and Rick earlier where he was kind of, encouraging Rick a little bit. And I'm like, that was a nice scene. Well, here he does even better, and he steps in and says, Rick, he's done. This isn't about you, right? This is about the fight. This is about us. And Rick realizes you're right, and so decides to leave instead of trying to kill Negan at this point. So a very nice scene with Father Gabriel. Unfortunately, he's a little too nice for his own good. And this is where one of the things that's great about the show is their ability to take certain characters that I never thought I'd like and turn them into pretty likable characters, because we see a scene where Father Gabriel gets into his car. He sees Gregory just out in the open, surrounded by walkers. He's getting shot at. And I'm just like, don't do it, Gabriel. Don't do it. I like you now. Please don't do it because you know something bad's going to happen to you. But he does it. He gets out of the car, goes to help Gregory. They're still getting shot at. Gregory's like, why are they shooting at me? And then finally sees that the car's open, so he gets up, runs to the car, gets inside, and then drives away and leaves Gabriel for dead. I'm like, somebody needs to kill that guy, like right now. I'm so freaking sick of Gregory. I mean, gosh, the fact that he's survived this long and the fact that he's such a pussy on top of it, it's just... So yeah, Father Gabriel gets left for dead, but he does manage to get up and run away from the walkers. He's trying to find a way in, can't, just keeps running away, finally finds a trailer, hops inside, and who should be inside but Negan himself, and leaves it on a very, very intense line. He's just like, you wearing your shitting pants? You're about to shit your pants. It's just like, why, Gabriel? You had so much potential. So obviously, I don't think he's going to kill Gabriel necessarily. He's either going to use him as bait for the walkers to get out, or he's going to wait until his people come to save him from all these walkers and then use Gabriel as possibly like a bargaining chip for Rick or something like that. But we see that's pretty much all that's left of the attack on Sanctuary. We also see that Morgan has a group of people with Carol and Tara, a few other people, and apparently they're attacking some sort of like, I don't know, they're satellites, which I thought they'd already taken that base out. So unless maybe Negan took that base back, possibly, I'm not sure, but they're ready to attack some base. We don't see what happens there. We do see Rick and Daryl charging in on one place. What happened there? I don't remember now. Yeah, it kind of ends on a vague note for a few people. We see Rick and Daryl charging in on one place. We see Carol taking Ezekiel and some people to take on another place, and this guy throws a grenade and blows up. So a few different things going on that end on sort of a we don't know what happens yet, and probably wait till next episode to see what's going on. But that's pretty much all that happens in this episode. It ends on, like I said, Rick giving his speech again because that's how they started off the episode. So the last thing I do want to talk about, though, is Rick in general and what he means to this season going forward. Because one of the things that I do think is pretty funny, but at the same time is sort of playing into this whole Rick's mercy versus Rick's compassion. As he's about to leave, he gets into his truck, grabs a camera off his dashboard, and then takes a picture of Sanctuary. Funny scene, but at the same time, that is a Negan thing to do. That is a very, oh, your place is burning down to the ground and all these walkers are coming in, tearing your life apart. Let me take a picture of it for safekeeping. Yeah, kind of interesting. But I don't know if that really is a good thing for Rick going forward. Is this something that is just sort of a joke he did to sort of stick it to Negan, or is this actually something that he wants to start doing? Taking pictures of these bases that they're destroying to sort of throw it back in Negan's face, and that just doesn't seem like the good guy thing to do. It seems more like the bad guy thing to do. So I don't know. It's kind of a throwaway thing. I don't know if they meant anything by it, but whatever the case, it is something that going forward, I do think this season's going to focus on a lot. Whether or not Rick can be the good guy in all of this, and he does say in his speech, not everybody has to die, just one man does. But those who do step up for him, those who do stand with him, their lives are forfeit as well. So I do kind of like the duality that they're playing at this season of we have to be the good guys, we have to be better, but at the same time, these people are horrible people, and we have to kill them if we want to be able to live our lives in peace. So it'll be very interesting seeing how they handle that as the season goes forward. But that's about it for this first episode. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this first episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Walking Dead reviews. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.